Welcome on board the show. I'm not alone. Here with me in the studio, I've got the delectable Anuoluwakbo Stevens. And good to have you on the
Good to
show.
have you as well. Good morning, Sunny Duke. How's
Morning.
the rain and weather treating you this morning?
Interestingly, it's okay. I mean, it's not my favorite weather, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
It's not my favorite weather at all.
So you can stay over there.
Well,
Over there, over there.
if the occasion warrants it, like it has some years back, you have to adjust. One of the
Absolutely.
characters and qualities that we have as human beings is our capacity to adapt and adjust to circumstances and situations. So as the occasion demands.
I think here in Nigeria, it's quite a unique trait of Nigerians to be able to adapt to anything, come
Yeah,
what may,
yeah,
pretty fast.
yeah. I've seen a couple of videos online where some African ladies, other African ladies, Kenyans, South Africans, Ghanaians, they shower encomiums on Nigerians, particularly Nigerian men, for their drive, their passion, their uniqueness, their commitment, their dedication to life. And when you look at what Nigerians are doing globally, it just shows that there is that quality in us that makes us very unique, special, and different. Not to mention the bad guys. In Nigeria, you have the good, the
Bad
bad,
and
and
the ugly put together. Well, away from that, I mean, so many things happened, in Nigeria over the weekend.
Yeah.
From Friday actually, where we saw the president had to come back to, do swearing in of the acting CJN right now, who happens to be a woman.
Yeah, I
Really
think that's
great.
in recent times, that's the second female Chief Justice of
Yes.
Nigeria we're having. Expectations are high. I think the critical part of it is that she should spearhead a reform in the judiciary. The likes of former NBA President Lisa Agbakoba are already, setting agenda for her that she needs to drive reforms in the judiciary so that the judiciary can really live up to expectation. According to him, the last time we had such a reform was during the tenure of CGN Mustafa, but somewhere along the line, we really couldn't do much until the tenure expired and some other people took over. But we've also had some interesting CGN over the years who came and left the judiciary worse than they met it. I mean, you can't forget CGN Tanko Muhammad also, who was there, and there were, allegations of corruption around him. His colleagues at that level of the judiciary were so discontented with the system and with the style of leadership that it really, really impacted negatively on the judiciary. So we hope that with the lady there, as they say, what the man can do.
Women can do it better.
Okay, so let's see what
Absolutely.
she's got to offer, what she's going to bring on the table in
Yeah.
reforming our judiciary system.
And
Yeah.
I also honestly want to believe that the federal government is going to take seriously what the former CJN said. That's Kayode Ariwola, where he said that the Supreme Court over time has been overburdened, and a whole lot of things needs to be done as regards ensuring that lesser cases come to the Supreme Court, and not all cases, should be made to get to the highest, level.
Yeah,
of
I
the
think that's
court.
part of the reforms that
Yes.
people are already talking about. Reform the judiciary in such a way that some of these cases are dispatched with earnestly, expeditiously, without unnecessary delays, and then cases that you really should get to the judiciary should really be cases that ought to be there. But the judiciary system or our system is such that people try to find a way to undermine it, especially some legal practitioners who will convince their clients, no, this case, we have a good substance in this case. If we can push it to the judiciary. I mean, you see that a lot in the political system, particularly party primaries,
Right.
the pre-election, during the election, and the post-election litigations. Some of them are just frivolous, baseless, meaningless, but because people just want to let's test the waters. We never can tell. Let's
Right.
test the waters and see how all of this will, come out at the end of the day. So they push these things until it gets to the judiciary. We've seen instances where the Supreme Court sanctioned some councils for, getting themselves involved in inanities and frivolities because they just want to test the waters, and in the process, wasting ample time that could have been deployed for other cases. Yeah.
True.
Okay, so we'll be talking more on the show today. We'll be looking at the federal government's economic policies and the plight of workers. The fuel price is at rooftop now, over 800 naira per liter. What's going on? I mean, minimum wage just came to force recently, and some states are still trying to understanding, not, I mean, even pay, but fuel price at rooftop, and it's really biting harder. So we'll be looking at all of that in the course of the program. We're still on our countdown to Edo 2024 governorship election coming up on the 21st of September. As always, political parties are in top gear, campaigning, engaging, reaching out to the electorate at the ward level, at the unit level, at the local government level, and at the state level. While some political parties are campaigning, some are not campaigning. So I'm wondering how they are going to impact on the election. When you came forward as the candidate of your party, it's expected that you will do the needful to campaign. But if you're not campaigning now, we wonder what's really your intention. Probably you're looking forward towards the later part, maybe close to the election, and then you declare support for one candidate or the other. I mean, that's really, really, really crazy. Okay, still on the ITV radio network. We've got Joseph Kadri, who will be joining us from Abuja Network Studio. But for now, we'll take a break and we'll be back to look at what the papers are saying. We also have a second countdown. It's our count up actually to the 90th birthday anniversary of His Excellency, the Honorary Romanian Consul to Edo and Delta State's Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawaru Igbeneghu, our Chairman Emeritus, who will be 90 on the 11th of September. So we have two countdowns coming up right now. So we'd like to quickly have Abuja Network Studio take a buying into our conversations today. Kadri, good to see you. Good morning. How is the weather in Abuja? Is it raining cats and dogs, or maybe raining chicken and duck and what have you? Good to have you on the show.
All right, very good morning to you, Sonny. Good morning, Benin, Abuja. Welcome to This Morning on ITV. So much to talk about. Just to continue from where Sonny stopped from. Well, when it comes to rains in Abuja, at one breath, you'll be seeing it, pouring down. Then another breath, it will just be a spatter of it. And so you don't really know how to actually categorize what's happening in terms of rainfall in Abuja. But it's a very, very wet morning. And in Abuja, it comes with so much traffic jam. And so quite a lot of persons, I'm sure, will be going to their various offices late this morning. And so away from that, we'll take a look at what is happening when it comes to insecurity in Nigeria. It is the focus of our discussion for today's program of This Morning on ITV. You know how it is. It comes now with some multiplier effect. With the wave of insecurity, it's no longer news that farmers can no longer, assess their farms, except for that of Kebbi, that to an extent we've heard what the governor is doing there to ensure that farmers go back to their various farms. But it's one thing to assure them, it's one thing to provide security, it's another thing for you to match your word with actions. And that explains why, well, as we have seen, the prices of food is on the rooftop. Yeah, because the supply, according to economics, is limited. Demand is higher. And so when the supply is limited, the price tends to, hit the rooftop. But we hope that this will be tackled very soon. So back to you, Benin.
Yeah, that's quite on point, looking at the prices of food items in the country. Ordinarily, In Nigeria, from north to south, east to west, we have arable land that has so much to offer in terms of food production to meet our national needs. Across the country, there is comparative advantage in certain food items. And there are some parts of the country where there's literally no type of food item that you can grow. But today, to say that Nigeria can't feed its population is absurd and is disturbing that we have so much land, but these lands can't be cultivated because of security concerns. And then you want to ask the question, are there external, extraneous forces that are deliberately depriving farmers from going to farm to create hardship, to create hunger, to create scarcity like we are seeing today?
Well, obviously, I think that is what is on ground at the moment, which is really alarming. And I don't know if there's actually now food inflation per se, because a lot of things, at the moment are happening in the country. Over the weekend, Ms. Okonjo Iweala was having a conversation with some person, and then she said that politicians should not weaponize insecurity. So right now we're seeing that insecurity is not only affecting, an average man on the streets or, just in a small, tiny village in, the northern parts of the country or maybe even in, other parts of the country, but also affecting our farmlands. And it's, actually begs and seeks for concern with the federal government, doing
Yeah,
what
I
they ought to
saw
do.
a post over the weekend by former senator in the National Assembly, Senator Shehu Sani, and he posed a question on his Twitter handle that today we are seeing bandits come on social media, TikTok, displaying their loots and doing giveaways to their followers online. So you can see the faces of these guys on social media. So why is it difficult for these guys to be tracked down and annihilated? So you find this level of conspiracy, which is quite disturbing. And that seems to be at the core of the problem, because if we are not politically determined to deal with these issues from the roots, they will just be playing to the gallery like we've seen over the years. And the problem will persist. Farmers can't go to farm where you can produce certain quantity of food is getting lesser and lesser by the day. In the north, the story is the same. If you come down south, the story is the same. So you just imagine how disturbing it is. I mean, when you go to the market and a particular container for measuring gari, for example, used to buy it for 4,000 naira. Now is 10,000, 20,000. I don't know the exact amount, but it's high.
And right now, a basket of beans now, I think it should be within the range of 6,000, 7,000. Like you go to the market every single day and then you hear a new amount. Things are not the same anymore. And let's not also forget that most times when you ask, they'll tell you, oh, don't you know the amount of fuel this, bad roads, and plenty of things involved in this food crisis that is looming. But let's not also forget, I mean, I read and heard that there was actually a time in Nigeria where we had a rice pyramid, where we had, food plenty and all of those things. So right now, what really is going on?
What is going on is that we've had leadership over the years, disfocused leadership that really didn't mean well for the country. And that's what has created this. Immediately, the oil boom happened. We even had a government, a head of state who said, Nigeria has so much money and we didn't know what to do with it. That's a statement credited to a former head of state. So that's the reason why this is very key. Who is coming into the position of leadership? A leader should be visionary. He can see ahead. A leader should be passionate, selfless. A leader should have integrity, leading by example.
Right.
When you are an embodiment of these qualities and traits, rest assured that the country or the state where you live in will be prosperous, because you can You can hazard guess what's going to happen. You can forecast what's going to happen. And you take measures that will take care of that problem. But what do we have? We allow ethnic, tribal, religious sentiments to overwhelm and override our thinking. And so we bring people into leadership position that lacks capacity, that lacks empathy, that lacks vision, that lacks courage, charisma, that lacks all the basic fundamental ingredient needed for you to function in that office. So when you get there, you don't do nothing. And when you don't do nothing, people come and start giving all kinds of excuses. And it really breaks my heart. We continue on this trajectory as a country and as a people, we won't go anywhere. I mean, if you look at it, why is it that when Nigerians go abroad, they excel, they succeed? Because the system appreciates quality, capacity, and ability to deliver. But here, what do you have? The ragtags, the dregs of the society, they never do well, the illiterates, the thugs, they've found themselves in leadership position. And they've been empowered over the years, and now they are perpetuating themselves.
And it shouldn't be. And you know, I love the fact that Nigerians right now are currently holding leaders accountable. The Minister of Agriculture, what are you doing to ensure that things are better? Would it be right to say we should call out, you know, a state of emergency on food? Are we getting to that point already?
No, of course, that's the point we are, because do you know what it means? I was speaking with a restaurant owner a few days ago, and she said something that broke my heart, that some people will come. Normally, most restaurants, when people eat, they eat the much that they can, and there are leftovers, right?
Right.
And then some people will buy those leftovers for their dogs. And then she said, right now, the man who buys the food, it's not even enough for him to eat. So there are no leftovers for dogs. In fact, when you see a plate of leaf rice, that when you get the plate after the person is through eating, you see that the person has used the spoon to put holes on the leaf in trying to scrape everything.
Oh my God.
And then you also have those who will come and say, please, the leftover rice and all of that, please help us scatter them.
Really?
Yes, they want to take them home to eat. We've gotten to that level. People can't feed, people can't eat, and they have children, they have family. So it's a very desperate situation that requires desperate measures, desperate leadership to address. So if we declare state of emergency in food, it's worth it.
I mean, the other time we saw the First Lady come out to say Nigerians, especially the women, I think we should start planting in our, you know, backyards and all. And then recently she brought out her produce of what she has, you know, gotten from her farm in Quilts.
Okay.
Oh, God will help us.
Yeah.
Always.
Okay.